Tonight, we are getting new information about a 23-year-old man who went on a rampage at Los Angeles International Airport today, shooting numerous TSA officers and killing at least one, while travelers cowered for their lives. How did he make it past security? And what was his motive? ABC's David Wright has the late-breaking details about the terrifying scene.
The nightmare started at 9:20 a.m.
We had an active shooting in Terminal 3.
An active shooting, unsettling words. A man armed with a high-powered rifle marched up to the TSA checkpoint in Terminal 3 and opened fire.
He was all in blue. He was wearing all blue. Like he blended in with the TSA. He blended in with the people that work in the securities. First shot went out, and I mean, it was a loud bang. I mean, boom.
Witnesses say he appeared to be aiming at TSA officers, killing one TSA officer, wounding another. That's the wounded officer running to safety, flanked by airport police. One passenger gave a chilling account of his close call with the gunman.
And he said TSA with a question mark, and I just shook my head, and he kept on going. So I was looking down, basically down the barrel of a gun. He was carrying a rifle that was about, 2.5 feet long rifle. He didn't seem to have anything in it for me. So, we didn't have a long conversation. I just shook my head and cowered in the corner.
At least 4 others were injured in the melee. Did people panic, or would
everybody panicked? Everybody dropped to the ground and started crawling across the ground really quickly.
Nick Pugh was right there at the Terminal 3 checkpoint line.
Okay, all right, everybody.
He followed others out the nearest exit and found himself on the tarmac.
We're going to be loaded onto shuttles soon.
Where police were searching for a possible second suspect.
I went out an emergency exit and ran down onto the tarmac. Running across tarmac, the cops come to me, thinking I'm maybe the guy, hands up, down on the ground, handcuffed, and I was left there on the ground for 10 minutes.
They thought you were the suspect?
I think so, well, absolutely.
Inside the terminal, pandemonium. Some hid in the bathroom. Others ducked for cover behind whatever large objects they could find.
Come on, you guys.
We grabbed all the big luggage, and then I stacked them high. Big row, stacked them, and next thing you know, I looked, glanced at him, and I see him shooting down this escalator. And I told my wife, when I say 3, we ran. I waited until he's not looking towards us so we could all run.
Police led some passengers out through the terminals, hands raised. Others were escorted out onto the tarmac until the coast was clear. The gunman made it all the way inside the terminal, having shot his way past the checkpoint.
Suspect got back very far into a terminal. There's a Burger King that is quite a ways away from the screening station, and he was able to get back there.
They finally cornered him outside Burger King and shot him. That's his gun on the floor.
Everybody stay together.
Police now say they believe he was acting alone, and they've ID'd him.
Today we are going to confirm the identity of the subject. It is Paul Anthony Ciancia. He's 23 years old. He is a U.S. citizen. He's formerly a resident of New Jersey. We are currently investigating his background and more about him.
Okay. All right, everybody, we're not going to run.
The TSA officer has been identified as 39-year-old Gerardo Hernandez. He's the first ever to be killed in the line of duty. The TSA says he was a behavior detection officer, the officers who watch the checkpoints for strange behavior. In all, 6 people, including the gunman, were transported to area hospitals. Doctors say one is in critical condition with gunshot wounds. Late today, authorities said he had intended the carnage to be worse.
There was additional rounds that this gunman had, and the fact that these officers were able to neutralize the threat as they did, there were more than 100 more rounds that could have literally killed everybody in that terminal today.
As for a possible motive, only clues at this hour. Law enforcement sources tell ABC News authorities found a note from the suspect with an anti-government message indicating he expected to die today. The note ended with the letters NWO, believed to be a reference to the New World Order. Tonight, his roommate said this didn't sound like the person he knew.
There was never any discussion about the federal government or problems with the government.
There was never any kind of about any hatred or any hatred group or anything like that. He was a really nice guy, a bit loner, introverted, but nothing that I would ever expect him to do something like this.
Although authorities believe he acted alone, they are investigating possible ties to domestic terror organizations.
We believe at this point that there was a lone shooter, that he acted, at least right now, was the only person that was armed in this incident.
This morning, another possible clue from the Pennsville Police Department, Paul Ciance's hometown. It's a small town. The police chief knows the family.
Chief, you know this family well. You grew up with the father. What kind of family are they?
Good people. Everybody in Pennsville is good people, and I really think that, this is a circumstance that the FBI is doing a great job, and obviously, it's back home here in Pennsville, and, we're going to do the best we can to help them out.
The family called them this morning, warning of disturbing text messages he'd sent. ABC News spoke with the Pennsville police, who said
their younger child got a text message from Paul stating that there were some comments in there about his well-being, and he wanted to possibly take his own life. And at that point, Paul, his father, called me, and I went over there and I made some phone calls to LAPD to try to get a well-being check on him.
Clearly, they were too late. The incident virtually shut down the nation's third busiest airport for most of the day. The LAPD blocking off all main roads leading into LAX so that passengers arriving to catch flights were stuck in traffic or stuck on foot with their bags. The few passengers who landed had to hoof it half a mile to catch a ride. Most of them milled at the ticket counters, where it was standing room only. The terminals themselves were clear most of the day. Terminal 3 is still a crime scene, but the rest are now open. And when the terminals did finally reopen late today, there was a traffic jam of incoming passengers on foot.
I don't think we're going to get in, but eventually.
Lugging their roller bags. Today's incident is already prompting a review of security procedures at U.S. airports. The TSA union, for one, pressing for more of their officers to be armed. Most do not carry guns. If you're flying at any U.S. airport in the next couple of days, expect to see a more visible presence of local police. And if you're flying out of LAX, brace yourself. It could take days to get things back to normal. I'm David Wright for Nightline at LAX.